Greetings to my online media and society students for the spring of 2013. This is the first in a series of video communications, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't want to call these lectures or anything like that, but I'd like to try and communicate with you via um, our online video platform here at the college. So today what I'd like to talk about is a very important project on a lot of different levels. And probably most important to many students is the fact that the final research project accounts for well over half of your final grade for the course. So the reason this is coming up in the middle part of February is because it will take students at least 12 weeks to put together this research project. This is not the kind of project that could be completed over the course of a weekend prior to the project being due on a Monday. So there is a sense of urgency about this project, mostly because of its scope. So if I were to break this down into manageable chunks, I would say, the first portion now in February should be dedicated to selecting a topic, also known as a text or an artifact at this particular stage. In March, actually begin conducting the research and analysis for your final paper. And in April, begin typing up your findings for your research and analysis. And that paper has to be formatted following APA guidelines. So there's quite a bit of work to do with this particular project. Just to talk in general terms about what the project entails and where you can find information, well, the first place to start would be the 12th edition of The Dynamics of Mass Communication by Dominic. In chapter 2 of that book, there's a description of something called critical cultural studies. And that's just one form of studies that are conducted when researchers analyze the media. There are more of the qualitative types of studies that could be conducted. The other types of studies that are done are around what's covered earlier in chapter 2, and they're called uses and gratifications. So you're going to be working with critical cultural studies this semester, the more qualitative side. And the latter part of chapter 2 talks about those, gives you some terminology, and then ends the chapter with a sample study of how PE teachers are portrayed in movies. And that's a really good study to read in the Dominic book, because it gives you a sense of, well, what are critical cultural studies? How do they arrive at these conclusions? And how do they conduct those studies? Another excellent source of information for you is the second book that you see here on the screen, called Media and Communication Research Methods by Berger. He looks at qualitative and quantitative approaches when we study not only media but also communication. So you'll be working out of chapter 5, among others, within the Berger book. So you're going to have to do a lot of reading in order to get your head around what critical cultural studies entail and how that research is conducted. And these concepts may seem vague and a little mysterious, but I know that you could get them by the end of this semester, and you just have to work with them a bit in order for them to make sense. Another spot where you could look for information is on the Canvas course space. You'll notice right on the home page here, in addition to our course format, there's your final project paper requirements and the online presentation requirements. I would really advise everyone to look through those and become familiar with them. A third spot that you could find information on is behind this Pages link. If you go there and click on critical cultural articles, you'll find there's a short write-up around trying to define a text a little further. Also, some key terms such as meaning, ideology, hegemony, and all of these terms could be found within the Dominic book, and further examples are within the Berger book. Also on this page, you'll notice there's a number of articles, journal articles that have been published around critical cultural studies. If you take a look at some of these titles, I think they reveal quite a bit around what critical cultural studies look at. The first one being sex, feminism, and advertising. There's another one critiquing the movie Super Size Me. Another one critiquing the television show Two and a Half Men, and there's that term hegemonic masculinity. White male and Asian female relationships in TV ads. Oops. And going down also you'll see the concept of interracial marriage as it's portrayed in Battlestar Galactica, and race and friendship in the television show Psych. So in addition to reading through the Dominic and Berger texts, I would encourage everyone to print these articles out and read through them, again, to further understand not only the nature of critical cultural analysis, but how do they conduct these studies? What were the things that they looked at? In many cases it was a television show, but not just one particular show in that season. Researchers might have to analyze an entire season's worth of shows. So that's going to be what you'll need to do over the course of March, is to sit down and start to do some analysis of whatever artifact it is you select for analysis. So those are two good areas to begin getting your head around this notion of critical cultural studies. In addition to that, I would strongly recommend that students communicate with me frequently, not only by posting questions here in the Canvas space, but also stopping by during my office hours and meeting with me and bringing questions or drafts of work that you might have. I could really help clarify these concepts. So if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and there'll be more updates as we go through the semester. So I look forward to hearing from you this semester. Thanks, and you take care.